Good morning. I want to talk with you this morning about a title. The title is Everybody's Doing It. Everybody's doing it. And I want to raise a serious question about the bait, if you will, being offered and often swallowed along with the hook to the American public during these days and times. There are artificial lures. Hiding the hooks are the multitude of surveys, polls, studies, and research investigations being carried on. Results of these are often offered for our consumption. Everybody's doing it. The hooks attempt to establish a norm, an average, or a criterion by which each person may judge whether he fits into the largest of these categories. The bait is everybody's doing it, why don't you? The great danger lies, I feel, in the unspoken and yet implicit message that this is what everybody is doing, and therefore that's what you ought to do. This is the way they're doing it, and you ought to do it the same way. The fundamental error comes in the criterion for evaluation. Let's say that a survey taken among junior and high school youth revealed that a large majority of our young people have smoked marijuana. The survey gives no details as to how many tried it once or twice, are continuing to use it, or decided against it, so forth. The question comes at this point: isn't there a hook in the simple image of the majority? Perhaps 50, 60, 70%, and what they do can be accepted as a norm for society and for me or for you. The question of the rightness of value, of ethics, of a way of living is the fundamental issue, and it can be lost in swallowing the hook of this is what almost everybody is doing. The TV commercials have bitten into this same sort of process. They show a medicine, and everybody seems to be using it and how well they're doing and so forth. Therefore, you better get some of this because your life is going to be better. Of course, hidden among there is also all of the possible side effects, some disastrous, but everybody's doing it. Years ago, the sexual studies of Kinsey, Masterson Johnson, and others were published, summarized, and communicated to the waiting public. Sexual practices revealed in these studies have astounded many. Some may have discovered that a majority segment of society was doing something or other in the realm of sex relationships, and a new way has been discovered. One way of interpreting such startling revelation is most everybody is doing this, and the parenthetical is, don't you want to do it too? Without the benefit of a more fundamental question of values, religious and moral, many swallow the hook of, let's join the majority. Everybody's doing it. My reason for writing this devotional has to do with two factors. The primary one is to raise what I consider to be a crucial point in these times. Isn't there a better way of evaluating how each person and how I shall live and find meaning in life than succumbing to the so-called norms or the majority of society? Second, we are living in a time when polls and surveys and studies and research projects seem to be really in. They are the thing. I want to raise a serious question about some of these, primarily as they may be well intended to tell us how everybody is doing, feeling, thinking, looking, dressing, smiling, and therefore, why don't you? I had a professor in college who presented the unthinkable, preposterous, and I think rather illogical maxim that, quote, the minority is always right. As is usual with such a generalizing and comprehensive assumption, it will not hold water all the time. However, after looking into small groups of persons who believed in Jesus and followed him, I have at times tended to agree with his maxim, the minority is always right. The issue is not, is everyone right? Or is the majority right? Or is the majority wrong? The issue to be addressed and considered on a better and sounder and more productive way is, what is the finest, highest, most ennobling way of living for me that will enable me to continue to love God, to love myself, and to love others? Our guidance for living a productive life, a kind, loving life, pleasing to God, is the example provided to us by Jesus, and no survey depicting the majority can ever offer that kind of thing. Jesus gives us a little food for thought when he spoke these words: "Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it." The complementary statement is also from Jesus' lips. Remember him saying, "I am the way and the truth and the life." Let's follow his way, his truth, his life. Come, let's follow him.